Hi, we are going to go over how to get started on your Zendala summative. So by now you should have looked through all of the different design options you had, and you selected one that just spoke to you, that you liked in some way. You've selected that and you're ready to do the next step of adding pattern. So I remind you of where we've been and where we're going. So you explored pattern and tried a variety of different designs throughout, some geometric, some organic. You explored positive and negative space and tried all different types of pattern with pencil and with Sharpie. That was our first formative for this unit. Then we moved on and applied those designs to a concentric circle. With the concentric circle, we took our 8 best and applied them radially in a radial circle. Radial balance requires to be weighted evenly on both sides. So pattern number 1 on the left matches pattern number 2 on the right, and then across from each other the opposite way also matches. So we want to pair our patterns together. We did that with concentric circles. We're going to do that in our summative. So again, formative number 1 for this unit, formative number 2 for this unit, and now moving on to applying it to our own chosen design. After you select your Zendala template, you need to plan out your patterns. You need to have at least 8. You can have more, but you have to have at least 8 sections of different patterns. So let's go through that together. If this is my first pattern, I'm going to put a little 1 right there. And I divide this in half, like a mirror image. If it is cut in half, opposite of my 1 on the other side would be right here. So that one is going to match. Those are both going to be the same pattern, pattern 1. I'm going to move on to the next one. So I've got 2. I'm going to go 2 directly across. 3 and 3, 4 and 4. I have only done this inner circle area, and I already have 4 different patterns that I'm going to be placing in those sections. I only need to get to 8. So another choice you could have is maybe not have so many in the inner circle area. I could have all of these be pattern 1. That's an artistic choice. Maybe I do every other, so it's 1, 2, 1, 2. I could do it that way. Either way, make sure it's balanced evenly around. I'm going to keep going. So I've got my 4. This one is going to be pattern number 5. Pattern number 5 opposite on the other side. 6, opposite on the other side, 6. 7, opposite on the other side would be here, 7. 8, 8. I'm already at my 8 patterns, but of course I need to finish the entirety of this template, so I'm going to have a little bit more than 8. I'll go 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12. I have one more section on the outer part, and all of those are going to be pattern 13. So I could get all the way up to 13 if I wanted to. Now, of course, you don't have to. Maybe all of these on the inner kind of flower shape I have here, maybe that's all pattern 1. But either way, I've set myself up to start where I'm going to plug in these patterns. Now, I'm going to erase as I go. So I'm going to start with 1 in this example. And of course, you're choosing hopefully from your previous assignments. You can always look up more patterns beyond what you've already practiced, but the idea was to build from what we started and select from those originals. So as you start drawing it in, I encourage pencil first, and whatever you're doing in section 1 will match with the other one. So here is going to be the same as this one. They always are going to match. And so on and so forth. So maybe I start making these a little bigger. And again, I would finish this one out the same way. That is just an example. These circles I chose to draw, that's just one pattern and one example. Now I would pick pattern number 2. And I would go ahead and draw my pattern number 2 in both of those. Let's look at a few student examples. So this student, again, those are the first 2, and they picked this template, and they've mapped out where all of theirs are going to go. So their 1s are gonna match here. They just barely started this pattern. Their 2s, their 3s, their 4s are gonna be all of those. And their 5s, they did along the edge. Going through. Let's look at one more. So again, here is formative of their practicing their patterns. They applied it to their concentric circles. Wonderful balance on both sides, using a lot of variety to their patterns they chose. And here's their starting of their summative. So again, erase the numbers as you go, but you can see their number 1 matches, their number 2 matches, their 3, and so on. They haven't numbered this outer ring, but that'll have to be a number as well. And you can see how it started. Again, be mindful of the patterns that you choose. Select patterns that are challenging you, and that could mean something different for everyone.